What up, everybody? It's the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to a new week, 29th day of September 2025. It's a Monday, Big J.
Yeah.
Nick here, Big J's over there, and we are ready to go. It is officially X-Fest week, Big J. Can you feel it pumping through your veins?
Yes.
Can you feel it radiating in your bones?
A little bit.
Can you feel yourself tired on Thursday already?
Yeah.
Welcome to X-Fest week.
Yeah, we got a long way to go before that.
Lots of stuff to do, lots of places to be, lots of people to hang out with. In the meantime, and hopefully you are ready to go as well. I continue to be, I feel like Scott Dorval over here as much as I'm checking the weather over the last couple of days, but I am still fairly okay with how Wednesday is going to turn out. Going to be rainy today, but that appears to be the last of it, and I can handle that. High of it looks like 70, 71 thereabouts, Big J.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, partly cloudy. Winds about 5 miles an hour, at least according to my weather app, in Nampa, Idaho on that day. I can handle that, Big J. Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
So. I'm agreeing with you.
You get different information?
No.
Okay, good. So it will be a beautiful day out for X-Fest 2025 on Wednesday. We want you to join us, so much so we're going to give you 2 opportunities to win some free tickets to that over the course of the show today. That's pretty cool of us, I would say, Big J.
I would say so as well.
We are going to check in with Mrs. Big J and see how Big J's weekend was. Spoiler, Big J, how do you think your weekend was?
Well, we were busy, but I eventually did get some stuff done, so I think it'll come out all right.
I mean, you're coming off of an A last weekend. It's tough to... Now you have to duplicate that or try to improve
I have
upon.
no idea what stupid thing I've done, so we'll see.
But you know it, you did something stupid.
Probably.
That much you're sure of.
There's a high probability that that's the case.
Of course, we also have a guest on the show besides Mrs. Big J today. Kathleen Munroe is going to join us in the 7 o'clock hour. She is the star of the new TV series Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent. It airs Wednesdays on the CW. We are going to chat with her today about that very series, Big J. We got somebody from the Dick Wolfiverse on our show, dude.
Damn.
I mean...
It's a big deal.
Kathleen Munroe today, Mariska Hargitay next week, maybe, Big J? Christopher Maloney, perhaps?
Nope, unfortunately.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
It'd be great.
Who else? Ice-T. We've had Ice-T on before. That's happened. So it's not our first rodeo. And Kathleen Munroe is literally the star of the show. So I feel like going up the call sheet, that's got to be a good place in our world, right?
Agreed.
So we'll see. The gauntlet has been thrown down. We'll see who answers the call. Plus, we play music on this show as well, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, kicking things off here on the morning after with Nick and Big J on the X-Rocks.
Important stuff. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, were you able to watch any of the Broncos game on Saturday?
I saw a few plays, yeah. Probably the first quarter.
What did you think of the look?
What do you mean, the look?
Well, they had a completely different uniform. Or helmet, anyway.
Oh, the helmet. I didn't get close-up details of the helmet, but I know they're like hand-painted, right?
Yeah. It was put together by an artist out of Nebraska named Armando Villarreal, but they basically were called the Front Porch of Idaho design, and the homage was to Boise itself, featuring iconic elements like the Albertson Stadium, the Bronco itself. The state capitol was the prominently featured kind of piece of artwork on the helmet, and the city's famous trees. My thoughts on them were they looked beautiful up close, but far away, it just looked like a white blob kind of a thing. Like it was too detailed to really stand out from a distance, which means I'm not sure how impactful they were. But listen, they were beautiful up close, but like on TV and when you looked at them like from a distance, it was like, boy, it was pretty far away. But that was not indicative of the game, Big J, because it was a thing of beauty for your Broncos. You were a little bit off on the final score prediction. 47-14, your final score for the Broncos at Albertson Stadium. And Maddox Madsen had the game of his career, 4 touchdowns. And, of course, a career-high 321 yards to go with that. Also, the Broncos' defense stepped up as well. A couple of pick sixes in the game, Big J.
Mm-hmm.
And held the App State offense to just 65 yards passing on the Blue, which was impressive, and 119 yards on the ground. So under 200 yards of offense for Appalachian State. So that was pretty impressive. And the game was really never in doubt for the Broncos, who did a really good job. They also sacked the Mountaineers quarterback A.J. Swan 5 times as well. So this was what we like to call an all-around victory for your Boise State Broncos. Agree or disagree? Big
Hell
J?
yeah.
Does it give you hope heading into the matchup against Notre Dame?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, Notre Dame put up some points of their own this weekend.
Yes, they did.
So it's going to be a tough one.
And that one's on the road, too. So even
yeah, going into Notre Dame Stadium, that's crazy.
But we will see how it all goes. But the Broncos are on a little bit of a winning streak. They've won 3 in a row now and have actually looked good the last couple of weeks. But, yeah, they'll have their biggest test of the year coming up this next week. We'll see how it all shakes out. Big J, Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh says he does not know the severity, but we do know that Lamar Jackson is hurt. He is dealing with a hamstring injury, and that heightens the concern because the Ravens are terrible right now, Big J. Defense is god-awful. Offense couldn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they absolutely refused to hand the ball to Derrick Henry. That's part of their problem, I believe. I'm trying to figure out...
God forbid he fumble again.
Well, I mean, sure, but, you got to give him more than 7 carries, right?
Listen, they're losers.
I mean, the guy's a stud. What are you doing?
It looked like they gave up.
It certainly looked in the game against the Chiefs like they were like, yeah, this is it.
But even before Lamar was injured, allegedly.
No, for sure. For sure. Oh, you think the injury is fake?
I don't know. Could be. It looked like he just walked off and then threw his helmet.
Well, people do that when they're hurt, too, I mean, a hamstring injury is not like something you need to be carted off for necessarily, but it certainly could be, one of the two. Maybe he was benched and they're trying to save face. Who knows? Final score 37-20. But the Ravens have the worst basically the worst start in over a decade. And this is now, Lamar Jackson was supposed to be the turnaround, but the defense hasn't been playing that great either. And so that's part of the problem. I mean, you got 37 points hung on you. But there were a lot of turnovers by the Ravens, too. Short fields lead to lots of points. And so there's a lot of factors that go into it. But it could be a bad year in Baltimore, Big J. Paul Thomas Anderson's new film, One Battle After Another, was the #1 film in America, $22.4 million. That is the best opening ever for a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. It made another $26 million overseas. That's $50 million overall, which is big money for Paul Thomas Anderson. But apparently it was a $120 million budget and another $50 million on marketing, maybe. So it needs to clear $170 worldwide to make money. But you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that's seen it and didn't like it. Gabby's Dollhouse was the second movie of the weekend, $13 million. That's very interesting, I suppose. Demon Slayer is now number 3, another $7 million to its record $70 million launch. Conjuring's Last Rites held the 4th position in its 4th week, and then The Strangers Chapter 2 rounded out the top 5 with $6 million. That won the audience's hate. That's got a C+ cinema score, or excuse me, a C- cinema score, which essentially is like an F because cinema scores are traditionally pretty lenient in their scoring, and if you get anything less than a C, it's a garbage movie, and you got to really think about why you made it. But nonetheless, that was the box office this weekend. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. It is the X-Rocks.
Here's
That's some Rage Against the Machine for you here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. And once again, medical doctors, Big J, are warning you not to do something that's become popular on TikTok.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Apparently there is a social media trend where people are taping their mouths shut at night so that they can, quote unquote, improve your sleep and reduce snoring. So a bunch of sleep experts, neurologists, and sleep medicine experts got together to collectively release a statement and go, hey, don't do that. Because that's ironically not exact. It's the exact opposite of what it'll do.
It seems like a good way to die, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly what the doctors are saying. Number one is it'll probably make your sleep worse. It will not improve it because you will be cognizant of there's something over your mouth. And your brain will be like, hey, am I a hostage? Oh, no, I'm doing this voluntarily. Not a smart idea to get great sleep. It also will increase the likelihood of sleep apnea, and it could possibly cause suffocation if you already have severe sleep apnea. So you might not want to just throw some duct tape over your mouth if you're a snorer. Nose breathing, of course, is preferable to mouth breathing during sleep. If you only sleep with your mouth open, odds are there's some snoring there. Odds are there's some sleep apnea there. But there's lots of alternatives for you to seek. Yes, they usually mean things like seeing a doctor and CPAP machines, and sometimes if it's really, really bad. But it is obviously a better path for you to take than throwing duct tape over your mouth and then just kind of seeing what happens.
Yeah, what a weird thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how these things start. I don't know how these things gain traction, but the idea behind it is, once again, the idea behind TikTok is anybody can say anything, and then you never know what happens. The problem is when people start taking that stuff for gospel, and it starts being spread like wildfire. It's just not. It's not true. It won't help. You could be harming yourself. You could be putting yourself in danger. There were 2 instances, one in Cleveland and one in New York, where somebody had to be rushed to the hospital because they were unconscious because of this. So people are putting themselves in danger because of this. Not the first time people have done dumb things and put themselves in danger because of what they saw on TikTok. Just the latest in the litany of things.
Not just TikTok. It's any social media.
Sure.
I mean, it's like there's 2 personalities here. There's one who put that stuff out there for clicks and likes, trying to get famous. And the other personality is those who believe that that's a good idea.
Right. Both are...
need help.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So just a reminder, you want to do a fun little TikTok trend like a dance. That's cool. That's your prerogative. But using it for medical advice, you just double check things. All right. Make sure somebody else is saying it besides, butt stuff 22 on TikTok telling you to put tape over your mouth because you're going to get better sleep. It probably isn't as accurate as you want that video to be. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Going to check in with Mrs. Big J. That's next on the X Rocks. That's the Foo Fighters. Times like these here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. It's time to check in on Big J's weekend. On the open of the show, Big J said he was pretty busy, but he got some stuff done, but he didn't know what that translated into as far as a grade was concerned, which is why every Monday we check in with Mrs. Big J. Kylie calls in to talk about all the things happening in Big J's weekend. Kylie, good morning. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. How are you again? Sorry, that's my fault. I screwed up.
No, doing good.
Beautiful. How was the birthday last week?
It was good. We went out to eat. It was very nice.
Very nice. I am glad that you were able to celebrate your birthday. Happy birthday to you. How did your husband do for the follow-up to your birthday this weekend?
He did good. I mean, he was busy. He is right. He had the walk. He had some remotes. He definitely had some time, though. He got a lot of football in. He got some video games in. He missed that backyard again going on like 3 weeks, but he did the front yard again yesterday, like late afternoon. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I got to mow the front yard. That's the one that people see. So he was out there mowing.
It sounds like the wife cares about the backyard.
Also, I hardly watch football. It's not even close to enough. For the record.
Well,
how much football did you watch?
We watched Sunday Night Football. I watched a little bit of the Red Zone, but we were out all day yesterday doing stuff. So
as we were walking through Costco, he had his phone on the Red Zone, and he's like, where are my headphones? I should have brought my headphones. Yeah. Like, we were at his sister's house. Like, he had his phone with him in the Red Zone. And we went over to Mason's, and you were watching it with Kyle.
Yeah, like the commercial of the Red Zone. Like, you can take it wherever you want. But I didn't really get to watch any of it.
I mean, it sounds like it was, like, locked on your phone the entire day.
Yeah, that doesn't mean much.
Okay, all right, if you say so, sir. But it doesn't feel like you're very present with the wife if you're on the phone all the time, right?
Well, I really wasn't. I was barely able to watch. Just because it was on doesn't mean anything. But my ideal of watching football is watching football, all the games throughout Sunday. Not out doing chores and running around to different places.
That's true.
Were any of the things on Sunday optional, Kylie? Did Big J go along because he wanted to be a good husband, or was he tasked with going along with you?
I think it was 50-50.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, this is what we're going to go do. And he went and did it, and he didn't. He's like, it's football. And I'm like, okay, but, we have to go do a couple things. So I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
I could have totally stayed home if I wanted to.
Well, then it sounds like you should be complaining about not watching football if you wanted to go along with her, right?
I'd rather have been at home watching football.
Well, it sounds like you could have made that call.
Those are the things that you can't do eventually if you want to continue to live in a happy relationship.
Fair enough. Kylie, any other things to report over the course of the weekend or the week?
No, no falls or anything. I mean, it was a pretty good week for him, I think.
No falls, just soreness from golf.
Congratulations on staying upright, Big J. Kylie, do you want to give him a letter grade for the weekend?
I'm going to give him B-.
All right, dude. Hey,
okay.
listen, not bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you went out and did the lawn. Is the backyard to a point where it's going to be like a complete task to do?
Yeah, well, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the front yard is a priority.
Sure, because that's what people see. As you said, you want that curb appeal. Nobody's going to see the backyard except for you and the missus, and then, unless you have people over, of course, Big J, which you never know is going to happen.
Right.
So something to pay attention to. But Kylie, as always, we appreciate you getting up early and reporting in on your husband. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Of course. You guys take care.
Thanks
You
for
too.
putting up with football.
That's right. And the Red Zone on Big J's
We
phone.
used to love it.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, some important stuff as well as We're Going to Hell. It's the X Rocks.
Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, you're somebody who famously has their bleep together. What would you say is a telltale sign that somebody has their life in order? If you had to nail it down to like, here is a kind of beacon that you should aim for if you truly want to say, I've got it together. I'm doing okay.
I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we'll fire off with it.
All right, how about paying your bills on time?
Number one thing that people say is a sign that you have your life together and organized. Yes. Anything else on your list?
You dress nicely.
Okay. Didn't make the list,
Didn't make
but
the
I
list.
understand what you're saying.
All right, not being sloppy and gross.
Sure. Yes, I would say having a clean house does make the list. So I'll put not being sloppy and gross in that category. How about that?
Yeah.
Other things that make the list, having some sort of savings buffer in case things go sideways is number 2. Being punctual for appointments also tops the list, kind of letting you know, hey, listen, I understand how to balance my time and manage my time and be able to take things seriously. Filing important documents and knowing where those documents are also a sign that you have your stuff together. Then you get down to number 5, which is making sure your house is clean and you also have an organized closet. And then, of course, we try to paint ourselves in a pretty good light. 82% of people here in the United States of America say they have their stuff together. You know that's not true, right, Big J?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. 75% report that being organized helps save money through avoiding missed payments and reduced food waste. 53% says organization looks like creativity, freeing up mental space, and things like that. So there's all sorts of stuff. Other key signs to know when you are organized and you have your stuff together, you never lose important things like your keys, your wallet. Organized people apparently have no problem keeping track as to where those things are. So that should be a sign that maybe you've got some slippage if you can never find your wallet and or your keys, according to these studies. So something to keep in mind as well, Big J.
Makes sense.
We have a Super Bowl halftime performer, according to the NFL, Big J. They announced yesterday that Bad Bunny will headline the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, which is set to take place at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8th. Landmark moment for the Puerto Rican superstar amid a monumental year marked by the release of the #1 Billboard album, a historic 31-show residency in San Juan, and, of course, one of the starring roles, Big J in Happy Gilmore 2. What do you think about that?
Crazy.
Also set to host Saturday Night Live Season 51 premiere on October 4th, so he is busy. Do you have beef, Big J?
No.
All right.
No, because, here's the thing. It's like, because I was like, it's, Santa Clarita makes sense. It would be Metallica, but the artists also have to want to do it. And they also, I think a couple of these artists, including Taylor Swift, they we don't need to do it. We're certainly not going to do it for free.
Right.
Because that's pretty much what is happening here. And I guess the NFL also owns that performance and any, all the stuff around it. And, there's certain artists that are like, I'm not going to give up those sort of rights and that sort of thing. That's what I heard. One of the reasons Taylor Swift isn't doing it among others. And Metallica certainly falls into a situation where they have standards that they're just not going to break for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we could make a billion excuses why they're not picking somebody. The reality could be they just weren't on the list, too. I mean, for all we know. As we've said before, the Super Bowl halftime show has become a counter-programming measure for the NFL. They tried to get people that maybe wouldn't normally care about these things, and they're trying to expand their audience. It should not be surprising to anybody that Bad Bunny, who is one of the largest international music stars in the world, is part of the NFL thing and it's part of the Super Bowl kind of program. It totally is on brand with the NFL, who is trying to expand their international footprint, why they would bring somebody that has such a huge Latin audience into the fold for the NFL. It is exactly what you would expect them to do at this particular point, and I'm sure he will do a fantastic job. I mean, I can't say I know any of his music, but that doesn't mean I don't understand why the NFL is doing it. And listen, I'll probably be right there watching it as we host a Super Bowl party.
And then who knows what kind of special guests will be there. You know, that's been a part of this now lately, too.
Of course.
So as long as they put on a good, entertaining halftime show, I mean, I don't have a problem with it at all.
Listen, and fast forward to February 8th at about 8 o'clock at night, about 60% of people will say that was awesome, and 40 will say that's the worst halftime show they've ever seen. This is how we do this stuff now. This is how it goes. Big J, Netflix has announced a brand new comedy series featuring Will Ferrell and Luke Wilson, Big J. They're going to play rival golf champions. This is the first time that Will Ferrell has been a lead in a television series. He's popped up as a guest in plenty of things.
Oh, yeah.
Been on a couple of episodes, but never been like one of the stars of a television series. Of course, he and Wilson starred in a couple of movies together. Big J, can you name one?
Old School.
Nailed it. Can you name the other? Guys, I've never heard of it.
No.
The Wendell Baker Story.
Oh,
Molly Shannon and Chris Parnell will also appear. They, of course, have a history with Will Ferrell as well in Saturday Night Live. Netflix has not announced a premiere date. Have you cooled down on all things Will Ferrell, or are you on board for this?
It sounds like it could be fun.
Yeah,
but no, I'm not cooled down on Will Ferrell ever.
No?
Ever.
Did you watch the Amazon movie he did?
No.
I would argue
here's the thing. That doesn't mean I'm automatically going to watch anything and everything that comes out, because I don't watch a ton of stuff.
No, this is true.
So it doesn't mean that it's because I don't like him.
No. I understand. But I would say if you were a fan, you would seek out the things he was in, right?
Sure, I guess. I'm a fan of Sylvester Stallone, but I am not touching Tulsa King
But
either.
you tried it.
Yeah, sure, I did.
Morning After with Nick and Big J, the defense rests. We got ourselves an opportunity for you to go to hell with us. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic, insight, stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
Let's not kid ourselves. I'm going to hell and you know it.
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
San Antonio, Texas is where we're going for today's We're Going to Hell story, Big J.
Texas.
And it's a story that starts like so many others do. Couple of friends, Big J, sharing a Netflix account, right?
Sure.
I mean, they are, I would say, they must be roommates. It doesn't say in the story, but I'm guessing they are, because you know how they crack down on zip codes and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But we got a couple of kids that have a Netflix account. Brian Reynolds and Anthony Castani. Castani. And they're both 19 years old. And they live in the same place. And they apparently got into some sort of altercation, right? Like there's an argument. Somebody didn't pay a bill. Something happened. And so Brian thought it would be funny. If you're familiar with how Netflix works, when you open it up, you select which profile you want to choose, right? Maybe you have multiple people on your profile. Multiple people are watching different things, the algorithm, etc., etc. So Brian was like, listen, I'm going to get back at Anthony by changing his profile name to something that's fairly insulting, right?
Sure.
Does not get into the story what that insult is. Could be, think of something terrible, and let's just place it in there as what he had his name become on Netflix, right?
Great. Yeah.
That started an argument on last week. And basically, apparently they decided, all right, then we're going to fight. And here's what happens when you get into a fight sometimes, Big J. Somebody brings a gun. And that's when things start to get a little bit out of hand. When those two guys decided they were going to meet up, next thing you know, they are throwing haymakers at each other, and then Brian has a handgun in his waistband. That's not great, right?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Apparently there is, because these things happened right outside the house, there is video of the altercation. And apparently Brian is repeatedly striking him in the head with the weapon. And the gun then was fired, but it doesn't appear to hit anybody. It appears to have gone off in like the, I'm pistol whipping you, and I accidentally fire the weapon. Either way, not great, right?
Yeah. Bad.
So now this dude is bleeding from the head, probably from the pistol whipping. So he has to go to the hospital. They don't know what happened to the bullet that was fired. That's also not great, right?
No, yeah.
So both suspects taken into custody this week after they were deemed okay from the injuries. But once again, we got like things escalated beyond control all over a Netflix insult. You know what I mean?
Must have been one hell of an insult.
Yeah,
huh?
I can't. I wish it said it in the story. It's probably something terrible.
I mean, we can use our imagination, right?
Right. That we can't even say on the radio. But it is something that, like, I don't know. There are certain things that are worth fighting for, I suppose. I don't know if a Netflix profile is worth it, though, Big J. Call me crazy.
No, it's not.
Or maybe maybe 19-year-old me would fight over that stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe if it was ad-free.
Yeah, you're the only person I know that has ads on Netflix. I'm at this point, I'm pretty sure that this is just an ad-free situation. But insults are insults, and sometimes they press a nerve. But I just certainly don't think they're worth getting into some sort of, gunfight over.
Yeah.
But again, maybe this is, soon-to-be 48-year-old me looking back on things going, it's not worth it, boys. But something 19-year-old me would be like, shut up, old man. We're going to war over this. You understand? War. So, everybody just take it down a notch, I guess, is my advice.
It's a good idea.
They don't take it all.
There's not a lot of good reasons to have a gunfight anyways.
No. There's certainly reasons to fight. I'm not saying there's not. Changing a name on a Netflix profile, pretty low on that list. I mean, listen, some people will stand on disrespect. I get that. I also think there's various levels of disrespect, too.
Sure.
But that's just me. Of course, I'm not in jail because I got into a fight over a Netflix profile, so I have that kind of hindsight of 2020.
For our last segment, you got your life together.
Well, not quite.
That's one of the clues.
Yeah.
Are you fighting over your Netflix?
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X-Rocks. Sublime Santeria here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. You know you need more Law & Order in your life. Fantastic news. Brand new series debuting on the CW. It airs on Wednesdays called Law & Order Toronto. Criminal Intent. The star of that series is Kathleen Munroe, and she joins us on the phone right now to talk about all things Law & Order. Good morning, Kathleen. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much for spending some time. Congratulations on Law & Order Toronto, Criminal Intent, which is going to debut here on the CW and be on Wednesdays. That's got to feel pretty good as a Canadian to represent that side of things, right?
Yeah, it really does. Thank you, and thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's a really cool moment. I come at this as a real hardcore fan of Law and Order, and I'm American and I'm Canadian. I grew up in Canada. I lived in the States as well. So be able to do this thing that kind of fuses, things that I care about, the place that I call home, and the show that I've loved for a long time. It feels like a really cool moment.
What are the subtle nuances of kind of trying to bring the Law and Order, kind of world into a Canadian way? How do you go about making those subtle nuances?
We apologize all the time. We get to get into some of the little details. Like as a kind of nerdy fan of this stuff, I've really enjoyed learning the subtle details that are different between the Canadian and American justice system. One thing that just visually is different. Our lawyers up here wear robes. I honestly think they're pretty fashionable. My dad was a lawyer, so I would see that on him as a kid, and so we get to see the different visuals. And then also just little nuances about how cases are run. We don't, for example, require a lawyer to be present when we question someone in an interrogation. So for those interrogation scenes that are so much a part of Law and Order, it's kind of interesting to go, well, how does it change things? Like, we can offer one, but we don't need to wait to proceed. And so it does change some stuff. So there's just little details like that, and seeing Canadian flags and the CN Tower.
Kathleen Munroe joins us, star of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent on the CW. Kathleen, this is not your first rodeo in the Dick Wolfiverse, if you will. You have done a lot of things in this particular world. It seems like it's a dream gig for actors. Does it feel that way for you as well?
Oh, totally. And for so many reasons, like these shows, they write really great central characters, and they also write really great guest stars. I've had the joy of being able to step in and do some of that on Dick Wolf shows. And again, it's just a world of TV that I've been such a fan of. And then now to be able to kind of be one of the anchors in this series, and then have all these tremendous guest stars come in and really get to show off their chops. Like we have aired already in Canada the first and second seasons, and to see how many guest stars, how many people in the cast, how many writers were nominated for kind of our biggest awards in Canada for this was so cool, because we get to sit there and just witness people come in and knock it out of the park. And that, as well as just being in the show, is a real treat.
I'm going to guess it's, exciting to get handed the opportunity to be in a major series like this, but then to get to continue on and have another season, gives you the opportunity to really dig into the character. What kind of, do you have opportunities to dig even deeper into the character?
Yeah. I mean, that's been the real treat of the last while. We've shot 3 seasons up here. Actually, the third one hasn't aired yet. With a show like this, I think also, there's a certain amount of pressure or a certain amount of expectation. If you're stepping into this world of TV, people know what it is. It's so familiar and it's beloved, and for good reason. This is really smart, really good quality TV. So to do it well and to do it right and to honor the traditions and to kind of, I don't want to say prove it, but sort of prove it. Saying, yeah, we can do an original version of this in Toronto with the support of Dick Wolf and the American teams here as well. And first season is can we get it right? And I think our writers are fantastic. I think we do. Second season is okay, now we've established this world. Can we play a little bit? And third season, we really get to sort of fly. And I think the pleasure of getting to live in a character for that long and then to see what comes next is just it's not something that I've gotten to do all that much in my career, to see that sort of expansion. But I think we just kept saying I think we've earned it, and I hope audiences agree. But I think as the show goes on, especially as we get into later seasons, I think we've earned the right to deviate a little bit from the expectations, and I think that's what keeps it fresh.
Kathleen, you mentioned kind of your dad being a lawyer in Canada growing up. Did that kind of knowledge to how the system worked come in handy for this series, or were you learning as you took the character as well?
Oh, I mean, both, but I think it definitely imprinted something on me. And also my grandfather, my mom's dad, was a homicide cop in Buffalo. And I had the real, the pleasure of seeing he had written down some kind of journals that, journals about his experience on the beat as a cop and then a homicide detective. And so to see from the inside, the experience of a guy who I knew very well growing up was just absolutely dear to me. All of that stuff really, really informed this job.
Before you getting a chance to really get into the role, what kind of opportunities did you have to explore just that whole world of, detective and all of that? Obviously, with the family knowledge that you just talked about, there's that. But some of the other things that go along with it, did you get a chance to really get in and hang out with some detectives while they're doing a case, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, they've been really generous with us. We have, we have the ballistics training too, which is an interesting thing to take on. It's kind of fun. And then we have, yeah, we have a consultant who's available to us at all times where, if we're doing something, and it really, we make use of these relationships all the time. I want to say every day, from the script, the point of the script, to then when we're on set. And what it is stuff like, we're coming into a crime scene. We know that we're not supposed to touch anything or disrupt anything. Sometimes we have to do actions that will disrupt the crime scene. So then the questions of, when do you have gloves on? When do you not have gloves on? What can you touch? What can't you touch? If you touch it before it's photographed, what does that mean? You got to have a little marker on it to say it's documented. All those little details, because the greatest compliment we've gotten about this show is from Toronto police when they say, like, you're actually doing something that feels like what we do. And, how embarrassing would it be to have the people that are really on the ground doing this saying that we're not doing it right? So we're very lucky to have that perspective available.
Kathleen Munroe joins us, star of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent. It's going to be on the CW here beginning on Wednesdays, and you can check it out now. Kathleen, I've been a fan of your work for a really long time because you were a big part of one of my favorite television shows that ever aired. It is called Patriot. It is still on Amazon. I am obsessed with it. I've watched it probably 15 times. Tell me that show was as much fun to work on as it was to watch.
I'm so happy you brought it up. That is one of the most special experiences I've had, not just in my career, but in my life. I mean, it so warms my heart to hear that you enjoyed it and that you watched it. And I got to say, like, a highlight of my life, the most fun, the most beautiful cast. We got to work in all kinds of different places, Paris and Chicago, and Montreal, and all over. And it's so dear to me too. And I think anytime that, I get to talk about it, I hope that maybe someone goes and watches it, because I just think the work that people were doing on that show and the stuff we got to do was really sort of unique. And it will go down as one of the great moments of my life. It
is so good. We highly recommend checking out that show for sure. And very happy that Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent is coming to the States. Please check it out as well on CW. Kathleen, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Here's
She a legend.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, the results are in. According to a new Dartmouth College study analyzing nearly 800 million donations across the United States of America, cat owners donate more frequently to charities than dog owners.
Huh.
Now, you're a cat owner. What
Yep.
up with that?
I don't know. I don't know what the correlation is.
The study examined a decade of giving data from over 60 million Americans, and cat owners averaged about 14 donations over 10 years, compared to 11 for non-pet owners, and then 9 for dog owners. Only 52% of cat owners donated to just one cause. 63% of non-pet owners concentrated on single charities. Pet ownership ranked 4th in predicting donation behavior after income, education, and gender. Cat owners also leaned a little bit more, I guess, generous with their money to the donations than dog owners, which is interesting as well. They don't really say why, but I guess it's the same thing that, you can make guesses about it. It doesn't say whether, I'm guessing if you have more income, you're more likely to give to charity, but that may not necessarily be the case.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that makes it happen. Maybe cat owners have more money than dog owners, Big J. How say you?
Maybe cats are less expensive to own than dogs?
I would certainly say that's the case. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I mean, it depends, but more often than not, I'm going to think cat food is probably... Your cats aren't eating as much food as your dogs generally. It all depends on the size of these animals. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird distinction to make. Cat owners versus dog owners and their generosity. Sounds like a stupid study.
Well, they weren't studying that, Big J. They were studying the prediction of donation behavior, and they were surprised to find out that cat ownership ranked 4th. They went in to find out what factors make you somebody that donates to charities more often than not. And income was number 1, education was number 2, gender was number 3, and the type of pet you owned was number 4. It's a weird thing they found in the study. They weren't just studying what you were doing if you were a cat owner. I would agree that would be a weird study. It was just happened to be a circumstance that those things were very high factors in why you donated to something. They don't know why it is. They just was like, hey, listen, if you're a cat owner, you're more likely to give. And you know, Big J, you've got to give, right?
You have to, yes.
Apple broke new ground during their Apple TV Friday Night Baseball broadcast by using 4 iPhone 17 Pro phones to capture live footage of the Red Sox versus Tiger game at Fenway Park. It's the first time that an iPhone was used publicly to shoot a live professional sports broadcast. These kind of things are happening more and more often. You've talked about how 28 years later has got a bunch of footage in it that was shot with an iPhone. So professional filmmakers are using these things to shoot things now, and now sports are using these things to shoot now. Do you have a problem with this, Big J?
No. I mean, you're not going to be able to tell the difference anyway.
That's exactly what Apple is saying. Now, of course, make no mistake about it, Apple is using these things for, I believe, a different purpose than 28 years later was using it for. 28 years later, probably convenience and camera angles, whereas Apple is trying to do a commercial for the new iPhone 17 Pro. You understand?
Yeah.
So I believe the motivations are different why they would do these things, but the results are the same. Nobody seemed to hate it or complain about it, but you certainly knew when Apple was showcasing the iPhone 17 Pro, I guess, during the telecast, whereas during the movie, it's not like there was a little Apple logo in the corner every time it had popped up that it was a shot from that phone. Big J, a new poll finds that people are using subtitles more often than ever. About 4 in 10 adults say they often watch with captions, compared to 3 in 10 over the age of 45. Adults 60 and older are more likely to say they never use them, because why would they want words on their TV, right, Big J?
Yeah, get out of my TV, words.
A survey shows that about 55% of people total watch with subtitles on to catch every word, while others cite they don't like that kind of thing or whatever. There's lots of reasons why we use it. Accents, unclear audio, the mix is off. But I, for a very long time, was somebody that did not enjoy subtitles on things unless it was a foreign picture. Then I was okay with it. But now I will fully admit I'm a subtitle honk. I really, really am. I don't know what turned the corner for me.
What a loser.
But now it needs to be on everything I watch. And when it's not on, like I can't have it on live events. That's too distracting. I don't want it on during sporting events or something like that. But I do want it on every other time I get it. And when we go to the movie sometimes, I'm like, man, I just wish I had my subtitles on. That would have made it a lot more better for me and a more impressive viewing experience. I'm not happy to say it, but that's who I am. And I will happily admit that I'm a subtitle.
I don't mind it on like a second viewing or something, but not in the first, especially a movie, because I feel like that space is taking up critical views.
I think that goes away over time. I don't find myself distracted by them nearly as much. And I don't use them all the time when they're there, but it's like a security blanket. Like if I missed something that somebody was saying or it wasn't clear, it's nice to quickly look down and get a confirmation to what I thought I heard. And I find myself understanding things better because of them, but that's just me. Morning After with Nick and Big J. No subtitles needed for Pop Culture Smackdown. That's next on the X Rocks.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we got a Morning After prize package here for you. And if one concert this week wasn't enough for you, well, we got 2 for you, because we're going to hook you up with tickets to X Fest, which is Wednesday out of the Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. Chevelle, Asking Alexandria, Dead Poet Society, Venus Love. And then the next night at the Rev Center is From Ashes to New and Magnolia Park. So we'll hook you up with tickets to that show as well. All you have to do to get these is beat me in Pop Culture Smackdown.
Sounds like it's a Morning After prize package party time. If you want to get on the phone and claim these tickets, now is the time to call 208-287-1003. Of course, in order to claim both these prizes, you are going to have to defeat Big J in a game called Pop Culture Smackdown. Do you have it in you to knock him off his pedestal? We will see. I wish you all the best of luck. Big J, are you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, the X.
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
It's Rich.
All right, Rich, you are up first. Rich, what wrestler made his motion picture debut in a movie called The Scorpion King?
The Rock.
Yes. Right. That is correct. The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. Big J, what is the name of Joan Jett's backing band? Oh, no.
The Destroyers?
Wrong. That's
Joan
George
Jett.
Thorogood.
Oh, God. Joan Jett and... just blanking out, man.
I'm sorry, Big J. That's incorrect.
Yeah.
Not the Destroyer.
Yeah, I got it.
Rich, yes, you did win. Do you happen to know the answer of Joan Jett's backup band?
The Blackhearts?
Right. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. That is absolutely correct. Rich, congratulations. You're going to X-Fest.
Double
And you're going
congratulations.
to From Ashes to Do. Hang on 1 second. We will make sure you have everything that you need. Big J, that was my gimme for you.
That's not a very good gimme.
Are you not a Joan Jett fan?
I can hand you a bunch of gimmies. I mean, I like some songs.
I mean...
But I'm not sitting here telling you, man, going through a detail of their catalog.
But you do love
Clearly.
rock and roll, is that right?
Yeah, sure.
One of Joan Jett's
I
trademark
love Joan
songs.
Jett. I don't know nothing about the Blackhearts.
Well, I mean, they're part of every song she's ever released, but okay. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your pop culture smackdown. We got your headlines next on the X.
News you can barely use. It's headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines brought to you by T-Mazda and the pre-owned superstore. Getting finance at T-Mazda even easier now with GoTeamCredit.com. Everybody gets pre-approved, no effect on your credit, so try it. Log on to GoTeamCredit.com today. Headlines are as follows. Not cool? Passport to chaos, and three's a crowd.
Not cool.
2 freshman dance team members at Warren Central High School sustained second-degree burns on their hands after allegedly being forced to perform bear crawls on hot asphalt, Big J.
Man, bear crawls were the worst.
Trinity Piegler's 14 years old, had to be hospitalized and has an expected 6-month recovery time after temperatures reached about 110 degrees on the asphalt. Her dad said she was punished because she had poor grades and she didn't think, and the dance team wanted her to get him up. And not exactly sure why it was okay to do that. So now everybody's in trouble, Big J. People are calling it child abuse.
Tell you what, if that was my kid, that coach would be in a little bit of trouble, and he'd be dealing with me.
Yeah, the coach isn't mentioned in this story. The school is...
Iron Eagle.
Wait, what?
That's a line from the movie.
God. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police confirmed an ongoing investigation as well, so there could be additional charges coming, but not a great way to handle things. But yeah, man, bear crawls. God, you remember those?
Yeah, it's one thing to do the bear crawls, maybe not on a 110-degree surface.
Yeah.
Your bare hands.
Not a great way to do it. Passport to chaos or three's a crowd?
Three's a crowd.
Devin Driscoll was arrested for domestic battery following a dispute at her Summerfield, Florida home on Tuesday night. Police had to respond to her trailer at 10 p.m., where Driscoll advised police that she wanted her ex-boyfriend and her ex-girlfriend kicked out of the house. Driscoll told officers that she was in a polyamorous relationship with the two, but has since broken up and now wants them out. Now, her former partners share a daughter together, and they all were living in the trailer at the same time. But apparently, during the altercation, Driscoll threw a beer can at one of the people that she formerly was in a relationship with, and on the back porch, and it didn't go well. That caused a pushing fight, and then things obviously the neighbors got involved because they heard the altercation. Police were called, and then everybody got arrested, Big Jim.
That's why I've always been curious about the throuples. And I'm like, man, keeping one relationship on track is hard to do.
Right. And then
3, 4?
Break up. You break up with them both? You break up just one? I mean...
Very confusing.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to it. And keeping one person happy and pleasing them is difficult enough. I cannot fathom having two.
Yeah, some of the most courageous things you could imagine.
Is that courage?
Yes.
Okay.
It can be. I'm trying to be positive over here.
All right. Wrap it up with Passport to Chaos. I can attest, you never know what you're going to get when you're flying Ryanair. Now, Ryanair is Ireland's low-cost airline. It's the equivalent of like Spirit Airlines, but even probably a step below that.
Yeah.
And I flew Ryanair when I was in Ireland last year, and it was an experience. Luckily, it was just like a quick trip. I can't imagine what a long flight on Ryanair would be like, but it certainly wasn't like this. A flight from Milan to London last week got a little bizarre and scary when 2 men, Big J, allegedly started eating their passports mid-flight. Now, that's a red flag to me. I don't like that. I don't know why somebody would do it. It would probably creep me out if somebody was doing it. It's a very strange thing to do whether you're in the air or on the ground. and passengers obviously were very puzzled and concerned about it. One person described it as the scariest 15 minutes of my life. About 20 minutes into the flight, the seatbelt sign went off, and that's when the weirdness began. Flight attendants were alerted that something was happening in the front of the plane, and that's when one of the men began tearing pages from his passport and then just was shoving them down his own gullet. His companion headed to the back of the plane and then tried to flush his own passport down the toilet. The crew obviously was alarmed by their actions, alerted the pilot. He made the decision to divert the plane to Paris. Once on the ground, French police boarded the aircraft, arrested the two men. After a 2-hour delay and full bag search, the flight finally continued on to London. And they never really got any reasons why these guys were eating their own passports, which makes it even, they had to be on something, right?
Yeah, that or they're terrorists.
Well, I mean, but there was nothing found on anything anywhere or on them or on any of their baggage. So it was just a weird thing that they were doing at the end of the day. So, I mean, it was obviously a scary thing, but also like, God, man, what would possess you to start eating your own passport, right?
I don't know.
I mean, that paper's
There's
thick.
nothing. There's nothing you can do to get me to do that.
And just the paper, right? Not the leather binding on the outside?
I mean, I don't know.
Just making sure.
Oh, thanks.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're up to date on everything. It is the X Rocks.
Here's traffic.
That is Papa Roach. That is Brain Dead here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, you've been a busy mamma jamma over the last couple of days, out and about, giving away tickets like crazy. And that means a lot of audience interaction, my friend.
Yeah, and it's actually, Nick, my favorite part of the job is when we do our live broadcast, because that's where we get to hang out with you mostly. We'll all get to do that on Wednesday at the X Fest, but we were giving away X Fest tickets, Nick, at the old Kmart parking lot there for Team Mazda, and the first guy who won, his name is Mike. He showed up. He's wearing his X Rocks shirt.
Love it.
Out in public, not doing any chores. That's what I always like to say. And so he stuck around for a little while until we pulled the first name, and we pull his name. He starts screaming and hooting and hollering, right? And he's having a good time, so he's sticking around. And then another guy that came up and had entered, those two guys are friends. They used to work with each other, and they reconnected there at the live broadcast. Aww. And then that guy ended up winning tickets, so now they get to go together. Like old buddies.
So you're saying the X is bringing people back together?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite the interesting interaction, and it just, whenever we do those, it doesn't matter how many people show up. The people that do show up, it's the quality, and you guys are awesome. We love our listeners, and we couldn't do this without you guys. So we're super excited to have all of you at X Fest on Wednesday, and if you didn't win tickets yet, you can still buy them.
Yeah. They're available at xrock.com or ictickets.com if you want to go to X-Fest. And listen, you're not required to bring a long-lost friend, and we certainly don't think every time you're going to be at one of our events you're going to hook up with somebody that you haven't talked to in 20 years. But, hey, it's a nice little bonus if you do, right?
Absolutely.
Do you know what work they did?
I think heating and cooling stuff.
Good stuff, man. Well, congratulations to Mike and Steve, you said?
Scott.
I was close. Well done, and hopefully that friendship lasts forever. And I know one thing, you're both going to have a fantastic time on Wednesday. Agree or disagree? Vic?
Damn right.
Speaking of which, your next opportunity to win some free tickets to that exact event is next with some bad impressions on the X Rocks.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, and we got a Morning After prize package here, baby. Tickets to X Fest 2025, which is Wednesday out of the Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. And then the next night, there's a show happening at the Rev from Ashes to Noon, Magnolia Park. So we'll set you up with both sets of these tickets here if you can figure out bad impressions. And it is a real, honest-to-goodness celebrity.
Phone number is 208-287-1003 if you'd like this prize package. X-Fest tickets guaranteed from Ashes to Noon. Tickets are guaranteed. Big J is going to give you 3 clues. Each of those clues is going to point you in the direction of somebody that is pretty famous. If you can figure out who that famous person is, boom, you are good to go on this whole kit and caboodle. Hello, the X.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
Kaya.
All right, Kaya, you're up first. Good luck.
I love Texas football. Horns up.
Night. There's a show happening at the...
Oh, we sound good.
Can I get the next one?
All right.
Magnolia Park, so we'll catch up. Can I get one more?
I still look pretty good with that shirt off. All right now.
It's 208-287-1003. 1003 if you'd like this prize package.
I don't know.
All right, well, thank you for playing.
All right.
Yeah, listen, you can't win them all.
I mean, I feel like I was channeling him.
Hello, the X.
Good morning.
Hey, man, did you hear Big J's clues?
I did not. I got to hear him again.
I mean, we did a couple times. I love Texas football. Horns up. All right.
I got it. Matthew McConaughey.
That's right.
Nailed it. Good job. Hang on one
You're
second.
my best friend.
Oh, my God. You
I'm
became
sorry.
Matthew McConaughey's best friend, sir. Hang on. We'll hook you up with those X-Fest tickets and from Ashes to New tickets. Why is Matthew McConaughey in the news?
Well, he's doing some press, Nick. He's got a movie coming out here on Apple TV Plus, and it's called Lost Bus. But his mom is appearing in the movie, as well as his son Levi. So he was talking about his mom, Kay, in this interview, and the fact that he had to put their relationship on a hiatus for a while. Didn't talk to her for several years because she had a big mouth. She would run her mouth all the time to like reporters and like the tabloids about what was going on with him. And he was like, he didn't know how to handle the fame when it started, and it just kind of worked out that way. But their relationship is stronger than it ever has been. And he was also reluctant to, be a part of have Levi, his son, be a part of the whole Hollywood thing.
Sure.
But he said when he turned 40, he's like, I realized how great my life has been and the people that I've met through this business, and why hold him back from that opportunity. So they'll be in this movie called The Lost Bus, and it's about the 2018 campfire and survival. So that should be interesting.
Hey, listen, and a little nepotism never hurt anybody, right?
Nepotism, baby.
I mean, rare that you drag the mom along for it, but hey, nepotism's nepotism, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
But listen, will you watch that movie?
No.
All right. Just double checking.
On TV.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your X-Fest headliners. That is Chevelle. That is Pale Horse here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Wrapping it up for us. That's going to do it for us, man. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Monday. Special thank you to Kathleen Munroe from Law & Order Toronto for coming on the show and talking about things. You can check out her program on Wednesdays on the CW or on demand on Hulu and stuff like that, because that's how we get our things these days. We also had a chance to give away some X-Fest tickets and some From Ashes to New tickets. That trend will continue tomorrow, but it does leave you with the floor, sir.
Yeah, tonight, Monday Night Football, going to be hanging out at McCleary's on Orchard, 604 North Orchard. Come join me, have some fun. Drink specials abound. Plus, we have a grip of those tickets From Ashes to New to hand out. So come on by, man. We got a doubleheader, Jets and Dolphins, and then Bengals and Broncos. We'll be there for at least half of that first game. So stop on in. Have a good time with us.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and we want you there. So win some stuff from us and hang out with us tonight and watch some Monday Night Football. We're going to be doing it all season long, baby. That's going to do it for us. Jason Drew is going to come in here next. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one. It's the X Rocks.